So you can just run this. So it comes out from echo user. You can do this, right? Let's run this. Echo today's date is, then you put the $sign in bracket date. You close the bracket. All right. Okay, so it will give you today's date. Today's date is Saturday, October 21st, blah, 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 and give you the UTC 2023, right? So now it gives you, see the string that you put in, today's date is, then it will pull that date command, will pull the dates and give you the dates, right? And I also have other examples here that we can take a look at as well. This is the current date, right? Now you want to check the disk space, the disk space that you have in your system. You can also do that as well. You can run a command, right? Like echo disk usage. What's my disk usage? Right, then $sign df-h. We're going to do disk files, so you're going to be familiar with this command anyways. df-h is the command that you use to check your memory capacity and all that. Right, so this will give you your memory capacity. Right, we'll get into this, but this is a command. Right, the use of echo command, you can use that to do that. I have another example here. So echo command, the most important thing is echo command, the use of echo command, right? So you can use echo command in combinations. You can actually write a statement and write a command that it will execute. There's another one here. I can just copy and paste for the sake of time. Right, echo command. So what this one does is it counts the number of files in the directory and displays it. So ls is used to count the number of directories, and ls is to list the directories and file. And wc command, what it does is it does word count, right? In this case, you're doing a pipe, right? You have a pipe here after doing ls, then you're piping this information. We'll get into this piping later on in the command. So you pipe this through another command, which is a wc. So once it lists it, it also counts your directories and your files in here for you. So it does a powerful calculation. So it'll give you the number of files in the directory is 36, right? Okay, let's see. I think I have some more examples that I pull in. Okay, we'll look into this when we're doing scripting, right? This is a small scripting. Now you have a variable here, number 1, and you give it an integer 10. You have another variable 2, integer 5, right? Then you run an echo command to add these two numbers, right? We'll actually do this. So the result of 1, so when you put this one, is going to pull this variable in here. So the result of 10 plus 5 is, then it gives you a small addition. So we can run this as a batch command. So if you copy this and get back to your mobile XTEM, you can create a file and call this number problem. Just call it anything, right? Then you can copy this, right, and just paste in here. Then we can run this as actually an executable program. You can run it as a bash program, sh, then non-problem. Yeah, so when you do an sh, right, it's going to run that program for you. The result of 10, right, plus 5 is, then it gives you, it does the calculation for you. It's 15, right? All right, go ahead with the question. So run this one, right? This one will just give you your home. If you want to check your home directory, let's copy this and paste. For the sake of time, we can all type. All right, so we'll just show you your home directory, right? This is the path to your home directory, home/ec2 user. and so on and so forth. You want to cut a file. For example, we have a let's see, what files do we have here? We have files here, and we want to cut this file. It's just an echo, then you can put the name of the file in here. For example, echo, you want to see the file contents, your file contents, right? So you do a $sign, right? Then you can cut that file. For example, we want to see the contents of this file, right? It would display the contents of the file for you, and so on. So that's how you use echo command. The use case of echo command is when you're doing scripting. For example, this is a simple scripting exercise, right? So when we get into scripting, we'll run some basic scripting and you see how it actually works. This is the use of it, right? So someone asked a question yesterday, what's the difference between echo command and the cat command, right? The cat command, you can use the cat command to just display the contents of your file, like what we just did right now, right? But the echo command, you can use it not only to introduce additional commands, but also to manipulate, you can manipulate some data. For example, calculations, you can use it to do some manipulation. And the use case is mostly when you're doing scripting, right? So have the knowledge of echo command because you're going to use it again if you're doing scripting. It helps, right? Okay, so I'm going to spend time a little bit back on echo command so we can get a little bit comfortable with it before we move forward. So that's echo command. We've looked at all that. The next thing that I wanted us to take a look at is the cat command. Actually, everyone has learned the cat command by now, so we know what it is. But let's take a, we've not practically dealt with cat command, right? So we're going to do a cat command. Cat means concatenation. It means to concatenate. It is frequently used in Linux. It reads data from the file and gives content output, just like exactly what we just did right now. So if you have a file like what we showed early on, if you have a file, for example, I have all these files, right? You just do cat my file.txt, right? It will just display the output of what is in that file. For me, I created this file. So to create a file, you do a vi my file.txt. Then you can create this file and put all this information in here. But how do you display? If you want a quick display of the content of that file, you do a cat command, right? Then you can see the content of that file. You can actually also look at the content of more than one file, right? For example, you want to look at the content of my file and my my file.txt and my file.yaml. You can do this, right? And also bring in my file.yaml. And it will display both contents for you at the same time, right? So this is the content of the first file and this is the content of the second file. Okay? It's very straightforward, right? And to view contents of a file preceding the line number. So if you have a content, let me show you what this means. It means just you have a line number. So let me check. I think I have this file here. Cat grep dot, let me see, I think I have a file grep.txt. Okay, so I have this file in this this content in this file. It doesn't have any number, right? If you want to number the files, right, you can use, right, you can use the same command, the cat command, but you introduce a -n. When you introduce a -n, right, you see it numbers the file for you, right? It gives a number to it, and the number will precede whatever information that it has. So that the use of it, if you want to list your things numerically, then you can cut it and use the -n, right? Surprisingly, you can also use a cat command to create a file. right? You can use a cat command. So we look at the echo command. You can use echo command to create the contents and insert it. We looked at that yesterday. For those of you that were not in class yesterday, we did something like this. Echo, then you have information like, yeah, this is IT, right? And you can actually put this in a file. You can append this in a file. For example, I think I have my file.txt. Okay, now I'm able to, right? So if I cat my new file, right, I have the content in there. So I'm able to write into that file now. All right, so what I was saying that you can also use a cat command to create content into a file, right? So I don't want to be a super user. Let me get here so we can exit. Right. Okay, now I'm back to being EC2, right? So you can do a cat and I want to write contents into brand new file, right? So it gives me that prompt. Now I can change. I can write content into the file. This is a brand new file, right? Once I'm done with that, I can do Control D, right? So if I cut this file now, brand new file, right? I have that content in there. So I do VI brand new file. You see the content is in there. So who asked a question yesterday about how many ways can we create a file, right? I've given you one other way to create a file. You can use a cat command as well to create a file, okay? But you have to remember when you do a cat, want to append a file into your file name, right? Once you do that, it's going to give you a prompt. You type in whatever information you want to get in. Then you do a Control D to save and quit. So that's another way you can create a file as well. Okay? Any question on that? Yeah, let's keep going. We're making progress. So copy contents of one file to another file. You can also use a cat command to do that. You can copy contents on one file and put it in another file. This would overwrite whatever content that you had in that file. But if you use a double greater than sign, right, this sign is going to append into that file. Let's demonstrate that real quick. So this is a demonstration. I have, let's see how many files that we have. We have a file here. What's the contents of this file? Match.txt. We don't have anything in that file, so we can put some contents in that file. Yeah, it's just image file, right? Control D. So now I have a content in that file. So let's look at another file that we have for test. So let's see what we have in test.txt, right? We have a content in that file. Right now, we want to move the contents of the file. This is the content we have in test.txt. We want to move the contents of mesh.txt into this file, test.txt. So I do this, cat mesh.txt, then my greater than sign, then move that to test.txt, right? I don't have permission. Okay, I'm not going to waste time. Let me just elevate my privilege. Do that again. Cat mesh.txt greater than test.txt. All right, so that, if we look at, we cat test.txt now, right? You see the contents of the file that we had here. This is just a mesh file, has moved into test.txt, right? But okay, now we have this content in test. So if we cat image.txt, we still have that information. Okay, now I want to move append. Now I'm going to do append now, not overriding, right? I'm going to append the file that I have image.txt now into test.txt. So the content now would appear twice. So you have this is just image, I should have it twice. Let's take a look at that. So let's do this cat image.txt, right? Now double greater than sign test.txt, right? So if I cut this file now, test.txt, right? You see I have two, right? So this doesn't override it. It appends into it. So you can write more information. If you want to add more information to the already content that you have, you can use the double greater than sign to do the append, right? So what this does, it appends, this overwrites. This overwrites the content, and this append the content, right? Okay, that's straightforward. Any question on that one? Okay. All right, good. So you can cat command can suppress repeated empty lines. So if you have a list of if if you have something like a list and you have empty lines in between this list, right? So you have mango, orange, pawpaw, and all that. Those all the fruit that we listed yesterday, and you have a gap in between. If you just use a -s command and type in the file name, it's going to suppress. It's just going to bring everything together. Just get rid of that line in between. This is just for formatting issue. If you want to do that, I don't want us to waste time on that one. So let's take another one that might be interesting. Cat command can append the contents of one file to another. So we've already done this, right? Cat command can. So this is another good one. Cat command can display content in reverse order, right? Let's do this one. This one is interesting. Let's play with this one a little bit. Do we have that fruits? I thought we had a file we created. Fruits. Yeah, we have fruits.txt. Let me clear this real quick so we can txt. We had this content. Oh, command out. Oh, I want to do a cat. Sorry. All right, so we have this file. Hopefully, let me see who owns this file. I'm on root anyway, so root has it. So root, so I have access to it. Okay, good to know. So we have that file, fruits.txt. So if I do cat fruits.txt, this is how it appears, right? But if I do tag, I'm just reversing this instead of calling it cat, so I reverse it tag, right? So it means it's going to reverse this. If I do tag fruits.txt, right? So it reverses this. So instead of starting from apple, it starts from grape, right? It just reverses the order, right? That's a good one. I don't really know how you'll use this one. The use case, if you have things that you stored in a file and you have older files in between and you want to look at the latest things that you stored, right? Or the oldest thing that you stored, you can do a tag and you'll bring up the latest file that you stored up. I think that's the most use case that I can think of in this case.
Does this work on a directory, listing the contents of a directory?
Yeah. So yeah, that could work too in the contents of a directory. Yeah. So if you have files, that's what I was explaining. You have different files that you've stored and you want to look at the earlier file, then you can use the tag command and that would help you do that. Okay, that's a use case that I can think of. Cat command can highlight the end of lines. Okay, so this one as well, it can highlight the ends of lines. It will just put a $sign by the end of the line. So let's run it real quick on our fruits. So we use cat command with an option of -e. .txt, right? So what it does is it just put, right? the end of the line. So if you have text messages that you jumble all together and you want to see where does the end of the line is, you can simply use this. This is just semantics. It's for formatting purposes. And this is the one that I kind of struggle with a little bit. There's if you want to use the -v, -e, and -t command option, then instead of writing -vet, which would work, then you can just use the -a, capital A, to do that. So instead of using -v, so -e, -v is for verbose, right? -e is for putting a line by the end. -t is, I'm not sure what -t does, option does, right? So the question is, if you want to combine all these, you can use a -a. When I tried using a -a, it just gives me the same thing like a -e would give me anyway. So I'm not gonna bother with that one. I'm not gonna bother with this one either, right? Using use of a dash case. I couldn't find out a good example to present for this one, but just know that it exists. It's one of the options they can use in a cat command. Cat command, if the file has a lot of contents and cannot fit into the terminal. I think I need to create a content to be able to show this. So if you have, let's create another file. Let's create a file. We call that file mo, right? In that file, I'm going to put a lot of rubbish. Let me find some rubbish I can put into this. Okay, so this is the more command, right? If you want to cut the content of this, it has a whole lot of things that you have to scroll down, up and down to be able to find. So what happens here is cat command if the file has a lot of content and cannot be fit into your terminal. So it doesn't fit into the terminal. So you want to filter it using the more command, right? So if you do this, cat, the name of a file is more, right? And we pipe it into more. So what happens is it will show the content, the first content, and you want to check the more content, you keep hitting enter, enter, and more content will come in. So you can use the enter while you're reading. Yeah, we want to read it so you can keep on, right? So it doesn't show, for example, if I don't do, you hit Q to quit, right? If I just do cat, right? So it takes me down to the end of the file, but the end of the file is not what I need. So this I need to scroll up, 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 and down, and I can scroll. I guess you can do that, but the more command is used mostly when you want to, if you do a more command, right, it just show you the first part of the page. And if you enter, you keep entering slowly, then you can read the other contents of the file. So let me use this opportunity to introduce you to a pipe command. You see this little thing right here? It's called the pipe command. Let me click this.
The what?
Pipe.
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 Okay. But what if you want to scroll back up? So, you push enter, you go to the next page where you want to page up.
Let's try that real quick. Guys are asking really good questions, some things I haven't tried. So if I have a more command now, right? So that's going down. You can use the down arrow, but if you want to go up, it doesn't allow me to go up. But I can use the scroll up button to go up, right? I can use the scroll up to scroll up. But if I use the up arrow, it would not let me go up with the up arrow, right?
I see.
But I can go down with the down arrow, but I can't go up with the up arrow. And I can go down with enter as well, right? Right. So if you want to go up, you have to scroll it up, upwards. Yeah. I guess
Thank you.
that's how it's designed to work. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for making me. I did not even think about that. So that's the pat command. This is how the pat command works. You have a content of your file, right? And you want to pipe it. You want after you have displayed the file. For example, this is the content of the file, and you want to show that file. Use another command to influence the file. So you put it through a pipe. It's like if I have to demonstrate it real quick, right? So it's like you have that's not what I use for demonstration. With this. So you have a pipe, you have a file right here, right? And you have some kind of a pipe. It's like literally putting it through a pipe. When you put it through a pipe, so this information called info or data will come in through here. So now your info or data is coming in through here. It's coming in exactly how you want it to. But coming here, you have some kind of a command. When you come out, I want you to take on this command as well, maybe the more command. When you come out here, after you go through more, I also want you to, right, sort the information, right? So you can get through here, then you can sort all the data, right? So that's what a pipe command does, right? You call it pipe command. We call it the pipe command. Oh, that didn't work well. And this is the symbol. And this is a symbol. So the information goes in here, you pipe it, and when it's come out, it's going to take up a different, it's going to come out with a different format. So this will format whatever information you're passing through it. That's what a pipe command does, right? So you can use it in so many various ways depending on what you want to do. I think I have a slide for a pipe command. I have a slide, so we'll take a look at it again in this course. I have a pipe command, I have a slide for it, and I think I have some examples as well that we can look at. So just wanted to let you know there's something called a pipe command, and that's how it is being used. Yeah, this is it. This is a pipe command. In this case, it's more. You can also sort this information. After you come out here, you can sort the information. For example, if we have a file called fruits, right? Fruit.txt. We have this, right? So you can sort this alphabetically, right? So I can also put it like this, my fruits. So pipe it, once I pipe it, I can sort this, right? So when I sort this, it's going to come out alphabetically, right? It was already alphabetically here. So that doesn't really explain it. It doesn't really explain it well. But what that's exactly what it does. You pipe it, then you can sort it, or you can do some other commands, other formatting things on it. So that's a pipe command, right? It's just one symbol. Then you can reformat this your your file or the contents of your file to whatever you want it to and more. Another one is cat command to merge contents of multiple files. So you can also merge if you have multiple files. So you can use this command. Let's take a look at how this works. Right. So I have some files. I'm a root, so I should be able to have access to all these files. So I can do cat command, and I can bring in IT file, right? I can bring in, no, IT file is the directory. I can bring in data.txt. I think I have fruits.txt. I have test.txt. Right, which other file do I want to merge? Right, then I can actually merge this, right? So I can use the greater than sign and I can merge all this file. I can use the merge command. Right, I can do that. And so if I cat merge now, everything that I have in all other files are merged into this merge file that I have. Right, so you cat, then all the other files, you just use a greater than sign, and you can merge all those things and they become part of this other file. So file 1, file 2, file 3 is greater than. Use the greater than sign, then the name of the file that you want to merge them into. Okay, that's very straightforward. In other words, you can combine your files into one. If you have documents in different files, you want to combine them and make them in one file, you can do that as well using the cat command. Any question on that one? Yeah, I think we're almost done with cat command. Let me see. Cat command to display the content of all the text files in a folder. So you have a text file in the folder, you want to display all the contents. Just use this asterisk. This is a wildcat, right? Use a wildcat command to display the content. Let's take a look at that real quick. So if I have, what content do I want to see? So if I do cat, I use wildcat. Wildcat is a star. So when I say wildcat, this is wildcat. Whenever you hear wildcat in computer science or programming, this is what they mean. It's just this sign, .txt, right? That will display everything that ends with a .txt. So anything that ends with the file that ends with txt is going to display all that for me. Okay, so let's clear this. Let's look at which other file extension do I have? YAML file. I have an extension with YAML. So if I do cat, then wildcat.yaml, right? It displays anything that has the YAML file. It would display it for me, right? So that's the use of a wildcat to search information. We have different extensions. Okay, cat command to write in an already existing file. I think we've already done this. That was the one that we used the double sign. If you already have a file and you want to write into that file, right, that's append into that file. You can use a double greater than sign, and that's this command. Okay, so I want to look at working with files and text processing. The one that we looked at previously was displaying commands, right? We've looked at displaying commands. Now we are going to look into files and text processing. And I think we've done this already when we're doing the VI command to create a file. That's exactly what it is. And how do you process? That's what we've been doing. But officially, I just want to officially introduce you to how you manage your files and how you can do text processing, okay? And we don't use any other command than the VI command or the vim command. So this is VI, call this VI command, and VI command slash vim command. So you have the nano editor. You also have the VI editor and the vim editor. Vim editor is an upgrade of the VI editor. So if you have set up your mobile XM already, or your server already has, Linux already has a VI. So you don't have to install it. But Vim, you have to install it. Nano, you have to install it as well, right? It doesn't come with a package. So you have to install this too. Vim is an upgrade. So if you're using VI, it's okay. Vim gives you a little bit of color here and there, right? The one I'm used to is Vim, but for the sake of this lecture, if you're interested in Nano, I'll go through this Nano. The commands of it, I have it here. I don't use it every day, so I would recommend Vim for everyone. But there are occasions that you run into people that are using Nano so that you're not surprised. I would also show you Nano. Nano gives me a little bit of problems. Sometimes I get stuck in Nano. I don't know how to get out of it. So I don't like using it because I get stuck. Yeah, but I would recommend Vim. Okay, let's take a look at it. So text editors are software applications used for creating and editing and manipulating plain text. That's exactly what it is. They are essential tools for software development. So in Unix environment, two most commonly used is the Nano and the Vim, right? So Vim is VI improved. So it's a VI, like we're creating a file, we use the VI. So Vim is just an improved version of the VI. Some notes here. So Nano is known for its simplicity and ease of use, right? So you can do a lot of things. You can copy, paste, search, replace, and do line numbering. For example, you want to create a file, you can do nano my file.txt, just like what we did with VI. You just name your file exactly the same way. Then to save and exit in nano, use Control O to save, to write, right? And to exit out of it, you do Control X, right? Control X. So some people get stuck. There are sometimes that you're trying to install something, if you're reading, if you're going to official documentation of a website on how to do installation, you'll find that some of them are using Nano, and you want to follow that step by step, then you go and use Nano. When you get in there, you get stuck. You don't know how to get out. I know someone has called me and asked me, how do I get out of this thing? Then the way to get out of it, if it's a Nano, is just hit Control X. But there's another Control X sometimes doesn't even get you out of it, because I got stuck as well. Even the Control X would not help me out. There's another command that always helps me out. Let me see. It's a Control. Hold on. Yeah, Control Shift U. This command would always get you out of trouble in Nano. If you Control Shift U, right? This one doesn't work as well. It works. It should work, but it doesn't work for me very good with Nano. This is the one that always gets me out of trouble every time, right? So let's get into it real quick. Let's see how Nano works. Let's take a look at the commands and how we can use Nano. The simple command of using Nano is let's do it practically so everybody can see. It's very straightforward. Nano, do I have Nano? Okay, so the first thing when you try Nano, you won't be able to install Nano. You won't get Nano. So you do, if you're running a Red Hat, you do sudo with a small letter, sudo yum install Nano. If you're using Debian or Ubuntu, you do sudo with a small letter, sudo apt install Nano. Okay.
I don't think we're
So,
seeing your editor.
oh, can you see my screen?
We see you and the PowerPoint as a
Oh
smaller
yeah,
editor.
I'm writing on the PowerPoint right now. Can you see me writing on the PowerPoint? Let me make sure I'm sure.
Yeah,
Am I
yeah, we can see the PowerPoint now. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So this is this is what I'm where's my annotation? I learned how to use annotation yesterday, but I couldn't clean it up. So let me use it here. Okay. So that's the command that you need to install Nano for the first time if you're using it for the first time. Okay. Okay, let me stop my annotation. Okay, so to open a file in Nano, right, you just do Nano, then file name, say my Nano file.txt, right? So it opens to you, gives you this editor, right? So you can just start typing. It's very simple. It's simple to use too. You can start typing. This is my first time using Nano editor, right? All right, now, after you start typing, maybe you're writing your program or whatever, you're writing your codes and all that, you do Control O, right, to save it, and Control X is what I said. See, Control X to exit. I'm doing Control X right now. It's not taking me out. It's supposed to exit, right, and quit, but it's not doing that. So that's, sometimes you run into it, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. That's the problem I have. So you do that, well, but you can also, if I do Control Shift U, right, it takes me out, right? Now I can get back into, what was the file name? Let me see if it actually saves. And sometimes it saves, sometimes it doesn't, right? Let me see. It saves. I actually tried it out yesterday, and it saved some files for me, and it didn't save some file. What was the name of the file? It was my first nano.
My first, yeah.
Yeah,
My
so
nano file.
it didn't save it, right? So that's the problem I have with Nano, right? It's simple to use. The interface is really nice, but sometimes it doesn't work well for me. So I'm not going to spend time on this Nano. If you really like Nano, you want to use Nano, I have PowerPoint slide here on how to do it, how you can actually go step by step on how to use Nano in other slides, right? But let me get into my favorite one that I also want to encourage you to use, is the Vim or VI, right? So I'm very comfortable teaching you, showing you this one, but it wouldn't be fair if I don't show you the other ones that I don't like. So this one, see, VI command comes with the editor. I can create a file. We've been creating files. My first VI file.txt, right? And I can type this. Okay, so this one has VI or Vim. VI, let's look, has different modes. One mode is the insert mode. You can create an empty file using the touch command. Touch my touch file.
Yep.
.txt, right? That file has no content. I cut that file right now. I have no content in that file. So if they ask you in an interview, how do you create a file without any content, right? You use the touch command. Touch command creates an empty file, right? But they can also ask you, how do you create a file with a content, right? You can create a file with content using a VI or a Vim command. So you can do VI now, my Vim file.txt. Now you can, right? You can add contents to this. First is the insert mode. It has an insert mode. So if you do I here, you can start typing information. This is a coding class, right? I am using python.py, right? Then I start typing. Num is equals to 1. Num2 is equals to 3, right? You can actually write your program here. This could be your comments and so on and so forth, right? And sum is equals to, right, num plus num2. I'm writing a program right now, right? So, but that's not the point. I'm just trying to fill in this contents of my editor, of my file that I just created. And once you do that, there are two commands. You can use, let me make sure I have it. You can use column W, right, to serve, and column Q to quit. Those are two commands that you can use. Now, if you want to combine the two commands together, I can do column WQ to serve and quit, right? So you have to remember this, and there's a shortcut for this, right? Another shortcut for this is this. Let me copy this and paste. Right. What did I do? I copy, I want to paste it here. There's no shortcut for this. If you do Shift key, you hold the Shift key, plus when you hold the Shift key, you do Z, right? We'll also save and quit. That's the shortest way you can, very easier way to save and quit. So let's go back to our editor. So now I've created this content, right? I was on insert mode. Remember, I was on insert mode. To get out of this insert mode, because you cannot do anything if you're still in insert mode, you can run this. You have to hit the escape key. Escape. Once you hit the escape key, then you can either save or you can quit. For example, if I do colon, right? When I do that colon, see it appears here now because I'm in the normal mode now. So you have a normal mode. This is normal mode. Normal mode, I can do colon W, and that will save that information. This file is saved now. I have a file name. It's saved. Now, if I want to quit this, I can do colon Q. Now I quit it, right? Let me open that file again. I'm back in the normal mode. If I want to save and quit, I can just do colon W Q. I'm combining these two, W and Q, save and quit. And I hit enter and I save and quit. Let me open that file again, right? I'm here and I want to save and quit. I don't want to type WQ. I just hold my shift button, and this is this command. Hold the shift button and I hit ZZ twice. It saves and quit, right? Again, if you just want to save this on your normal mode, this is normal mode. You do column W, you save it. If you want to quit, you do column Q, you quit. Open this file again, right? If you want to save and quit, you can do colon WQ, and that will save and quit. If you want a short way to save and quit, open this file again. You can do, hold your shift key, then you use ZZ. This is very important. You'll be using this editor a lot, right? So you better get familiar with this or you get stuck and you call me, IT, how do I get out of this editor, right? So it's something when I emphasize, say, you have to know this because you use this a lot, okay? So that's the VI command and also the vim command. Okay, now the question is, I've written something, I open a file, and I made a mistake. I don't really want to save it, okay? I have a file, and in this file, I mistakenly do the insert mode to modify this file. I put in 4, 5, right? Right. One way I can do, I can back up. I can back this up and correct this error. But another thing, if I just I don't want to save it, but I want to quit so that it doesn't save this information. How do I do it? So do I have it here? I'm not sure. Okay, I don't want to save this, but I just want to quit. So you do column Q and exclamation sign. I don't think I have it here. So let me so quit without saving. Right. Or to exit without saving. You use column Q, right? You would use this a lot as well because there are some important files that you'll get into and you messed it up. You don't want to save it, right? And you just want to get out. So you'll use this a lot. Let me not put this so I don't confuse you guys. column Q, small q, exclamation sign. You will use this a lot. So you know these two commands, this one and this one. You will use it a lot. So, for example, this, I save and quit. If I open this file again, right, that data that I put in did not save, right? Right, this data, if I put in, if I had, it did not. Because what I do the escape, column, the column sign, column, Q, exclamation sign, enter. If I open it again, right, it did not save that information. If I want to save the information, want to change it back to do insert again, then do 8888999, right? If I want to save, I can do column WQ. I save and quit. If I open that file again, right, that has changed it. Okay, so this you should know the use of editor, VI editor. Like I said, VI, you have a Vim. Let me see, I think I installed Vim already. You can also do Vim, my Vim file.txt, right? Oh, I already have that one. Let me save and quit. So you can use Vim. See, Vim also opens the same contents of file that the file that I had here, right? So you can use Vim or VI. What's the difference between Vim? Vim always gives some color. I don't know what I don't have color here. If you have, it always gives you some editor, it gives you some nice background color. It mixes the color, it makes it really beautiful. That's the difference I've seen in Vim. Apart from that, VI works exactly like Vim. So you can use them interchangeably. You can use VI, you can use Vim. It does not really matter. Let me see if they have any. Okay, so now you have the VI normal mode. You have the visual mode, and you also have the normal mode. Missing a mode. And then to navigate, these are some ways that you can navigate, but yes, you can just use your up arrow and down arrow to navigate through this. If you want a shortcut, press I is the insert mode. Press A is to enter insert mode after the cursor. This doesn't really matter. This is what I need you to focus on, right? If you want to get fancy into the ingredient of it, then you can get into this. Press capital I to enter insert mode at the beginning of the line, right? Press capital A to enter insert mode at the end of the line. Press O to open a new line below. This is the only one that I use, right? But you can use all of this if you feel it necessary for you. But this alone gives me exactly what I need. Okay. So that's basically all about VI, the VI or VI, Vim editor. Right. With that, you can create whatever you need to create, write a program, write contents of the data, and so on and so forth. Any question? Any question? Let me see. I'll probably add an additional.